And I think I'm live. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Bonnie Gillespie, and we are going to do a chart harmony tour of Chiron through the signs, and we're going to be celebrating Chiron giving us a preview of the Chiron in Taurus era that is ahead for us. First, I have to ask you, have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have, do it again because it feels good. Yeah, we're going to do some grounding. We're going to spend some time with the wounded healer. Let me know in the live chat that you are here, and those of you watching in replay, hello, replay crew. Drop me an emoji. Let me know how you are feeling about Chiron in your chart or going into Taurus. Get that shadow side. I made some slides, just a few, made some slides. Didn't make a ton, made a few. I started realizing that I might be putting too much into a single live stream, especially one where I can't go too far over because I have a one-on-one client right after this. And then that reminded me, y'all, I'm running a very big sale on my one-on-ones, and I will probably close off that sale at the end of the month. So in the description of this live stream, when I am done with it, I will edit the description and put a link in there to the packages where you can save up to 70% for packages of one-on-one time with me. And you keep it in the bank. I never expire the sessions. They are there for you whenever you need them. And especially if you are someone who's been looking to work with me kind of ongoing, it's a great time to get them in the bank while the price is so low. Let's see who's saying hello. It's Jackie. Welcome, Jackie. I hope things are going very well for you. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for saying hello, and for exploring Chiron with me. So why Chiron? Why are we talking about Chiron? Chiron is a really cool little wiggly squiggly comet-like planetoid / centaur. When my mom was first learning astrology, and I have recently found some of her old notes, I wanted to go through and uncover some of the things that she was working on about our family in particular because of something that's going on with one of my siblings right now. And I was just like, I just want to see some of my mom's notes. And I went through and I found the earliest notes I've found are from 1973 so far. But I have, like, my mom, very much like her daughter, took lots of notes. So I have lots and lots and lots of things to still go through. But knowing that something was going on that far back, right, I'm like, woo! There's so many cool things that I still have yet to uncover. But what I noticed in how far back mom, and therefore mom and I, were learning astrology was that, Chiron hadn't been discovered when most of my mom's deep study in astrology was happening. Chiron was only discovered in October of 1977. And when Chiron was discovered, it was at 4 degrees Taurus. So it takes 50 years for Chiron to go all the way around, which means, math. Yes, that's right. We are coming up on the Chiron return of the discovery of Chiron. That is a big significant moment. And let's talk about how big a deal it is that Chiron was discovered in 1977. And yes, there are bajillions of things that are constantly being discovered now that we have such incredible technology out there, just constantly bumping into all the things. And it's like, oh my gosh, this place is infinite. Before Chiron was discovered, we look at, like, when was Pluto discovered? That was 1930. So that's also not that long ago. And before that, Saturn, the last of the first set of planets that were discovered with the naked eye and that astrology was based around, all of the original Hellenistic astrology. I know there are lots of schools of astrology, so let me qualify that. For Western astrology, the Hellenistic period and ancient astrology, we're talking 700 BCE was when Saturn was discovered, and we were sure that was as far out as things went like that. So that's why traditional astrology sticks to Saturn as the end of it all. But then in 1781, I want you to just notice how big a gap that is. From 700 BCE to 1781, we went from knowing Saturn to then discovering Uranus. And then from there, Neptune, Pluto 1930, Chiron 1977. And that one got inserted into the conversation. And I wanted to show you from my slides that I created, hopefully that is coming through there, some of the wonkiness that is Chiron, so that you can understand its space in our space, but also in our lives. So Chiron is known as the wounded healer, and the orbit, let's take a look at these. This is one perspective that shows you, if you could see how it even gets taller, like the actual range of declination is higher out here for Chiron. It's this wonky elliptical shaped orbit among all the inners, and then there's Jupiter, and then there's Saturn, the social planets, and then out here is Uranus, and then Neptune, and of course nobody's putting Pluto on these things anymore, but I would put Pluto on these, but that's all right. If I want Pluto on it, I got to make my own graphics, and these are graphics that I just grabbed from other places where they do graphics, because they get the point done, and you just can like sketch in Pluto over there. But so take a look at how this Chiron orbit, it doesn't just do this kind of wobbly stuff, which is why it behaves like a comet. It doesn't just do all of that. It also is going in a different shape. So it's not following some of the rules that we're used to with orbit, and it takes it from within the area of the social planets like Jupiter and Saturn and puts it outside of Uranus. And Uranus is the rule breaker, the innovator, the let's go fuck shit up, or it is the where am I not free planet, and I'm gonna come in and flip some tables until this party gets a little more free and a little more spacious, because the rules of Saturn have just become too much. And Chiron says, I'm gonna bridge the gap of those spaces. And so I like to think about the time of that. That's why I mentioned specifically that Saturn was the last thing we knew at 700 BCE, and then all the way to 1781 before we get Uranus. Like that's a big space of time. And so Chiron does a lot of storytelling about the wounded healer journey. And there's some great links to reading up on the mythology of all that. I will toss those in the description on the edit later, along with time code, so you can jump around to your specific sign, your specific house, the things that I'm going to be covering today. But suffice it to say that this bridge between the social planets and the outers which are known as sort of the generational planets, has sort of taken us on a very interesting journey of where is our wound that we are born with, and what is it that when we get that wound healed, we are better as healers for having been on that healing journey. And that's a lot of what Chiron tells as a story. So we're about to have a 3-month-long period in 2026 where Chiron is going to be in Taurus to give us a preview of what to expect. So if I take a look at the woo weather of the right now, sorry, I got like dog fur on my nose, and so I'm going to be like, give me a tissue. Give me a tissue. Because that little short dog fur, hair, whatever, that would be how I die. That would be how I die. Okay. Let's hope I got it. No, how I would die would be a stray hair of mine, which is really long, like down the back of my shirt, and not able to get it off my skin. That's how I die. Okay. I actually don't know how I die. I don't. But that would be up there as one of my top contenders. Okay, current woo weather, y'all. Woo! We are in what is the mildest of the woo weather of 2026 right now. May and June are delightfully peaceful as woo weather goes, and then we're gonna get some bumpy ass shit right as we end June and head into July. And I know everybody was like, no, April what has to have been the wildest astrological month of 2026, and I'm like, it's the wildest we've experienced so far. And then we're gonna have July, and then pretty much the whole last quarter of 2026, October, November, December, all of that. So we're going to brace ourselves a little bit. We're going to have some Mercury retrograde. We're going to have Jupiter moving from Cancer into Leo, where immediately it opposes Pluto and gives us a nice little relationship issue with Chiron, because Chiron will be also going into Taurus, a fixed sign. So right now, here's Chiron. This looks like a key. Chiron is at 28 degrees Aries and has been in Aries for a minute. Chiron has been traveling with Uranus in terms of how long it's taking to go from sign to sign. And that's been really interesting. They're not in the same sign, but they've been kind of like hanging out with each other, which is an interesting part of the story that we're experiencing generationally. But here's our Pluto over here in Aquarius. Soon Jupiter will jump over here into Leo, and Chiron will jump over here into Taurus. And that's going to give us a nice little T-square of the fixed signs. And then we're going to have some eclipses, because of course that's what we want to do. We want to have some eclipses in Leo and Aquarius, also fixed signs. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot. So what we get from, let me give you the dates, from June 19th, 2026 to September 17th, 2026 is a 3-month-long preview of Chiron and Taurus. And then because of retrograde, Chiron is going to go back into Aries and finish some business over there. And that will take place, Chiron back into Aries, doing all of the finishing touches of what did we learn while Chiron was in Aries all these years. We're going to do a whole bunch of healing of old wounds and new wounds around all of that, and I'll get into what exactly that is. We will be doing that from September 17th, 2026 until April 14th, 2027. When we get to April 14th, 2027, we will have Chiron in, let's go, Chiron will be in Taurus for a few years. So there's our preview, and then there. When we get over here into Aries season 2027, we will have Chiron leave Aries and jump over here into Taurus, where he will stay for a good few years. What's a good few years? What does that even mean, Gillespie? Come on, let's give us some like actual information here. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. As I mentioned on the slide here, because of Chiron's wonky orbit, scientific term, because of Chiron's wonky orbit, he actually spends nearly half of the 50 years it takes to go all the way around, so like 23 something years he spends in 3 signs. And those three signs are Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. So we are right now in the midst of the longest times that Chiron stays in a sign. And we've never experienced Chiron in Aries generationally before, knowing that we were experiencing Chiron in Aries. Meaning, Chiron's been kicking it in Aries every 50 years for as long as Chiron's been out there. Some scientists can tell you how old that rock is, right? How old that piece that probably was a moon of something else and then spun into its own space and kind of created its own experience there. That's kind of how that works. Chiron, however, was not known in Aries because we didn't discover it until it was in Taurus, 4 degrees Taurus to be exact. And that was October 17th of 1977. October 17th? October 17th. October 17th, does it matter? October 18th. October 18th of 1977 was discovered. Okay, so that means we are just now getting a lived experience of Chiron and Aries to know, oh, this is what that theme is. This is how that feels. And so let's take a look at that visually. This is from AstroSeek. They have great graphics that show you the full cycle of planets, and in this case, planetoid, centaur, comet-ish thing. That this cycle that I'm pulling up right here started in April of 1968 of Chiron in Aries. We always start our cycles in Aries and end them in Pisces, the order of the zodiac. So we go, Chiron entered Aries in April of 1968, and a whole bunch of us were born with Chiron in Aries. And then in May of 1976, Chiron moved into Taurus and then was discovered in October of 1977. And then Chiron moved into Gemini in June of 1983. And then by June of 1988 was in Cancer. By July of 1991 was in Leo. By September of 1993 in Virgo. By September of 1995 in Libra. By December of 1996, like a real short time, over in Scorpio, and then moved into Sagittarius by January of 1999. By December of 2001 in Capricorn, and then we start seeing these terms get a little bit longer because we're moving more to the edge of that orbit. And here by February of 2005, we've got Chiron in Aquarius until April of 2010, when we've got Chiron moving into Pisces, and that is where Chiron was until April of 2018, at which point he dipped into Aries again to start the cycle that we are currently living. And Chiron will then be considered officially done with Aries April 14th, 2027. But we're getting this preview from June 19th to September 17th of 2026 of Chiron in Taurus to find out what is all that about. So I have some of the dates here for you of when Chiron was in Taurus previously. We've got May of 1926 to June of 1933. We've got May of 1976 to June of 1983. And we've got June of 2026 to July 2033. So those are our Chiron in Taurus terms that we've experienced and will experience. So the planetary return of something when it's discovered is always really fascinating data in terms of how that feels to us. What's the lived experience going to be? So you may want to go ahead and mark on your calendar these 3 dates: June 24th, 2027, September 21st, 2027, and April 17th, 2028. Those 3 dates there are going to be when Chiron is back at 4 degrees Taurus, which is the degree at which Chiron was discovered in October of 1977. Why 3 hits? Because retrograde. We're going to get Chiron hitting that point, 4 degrees. And so anybody who's got, let's say, early, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of a fixed planet, and 0 may be too far away, but for now let's stick with that, and then we'll see. But anybody who's got early degrees fixed signs, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you are going to really feel the experience of Chiron coming into this space, especially around these dates that we're having this Chiron return of its existence in Taurus. So this preview is going to be happening in the Taurus part of your chart. If you don't know how to find the Taurus part of your chart, I've got a great starter webinar. It's free. It's called What Your Birthday Says About You. And I will make sure there's a link to that in the description of this very video so that you can get over there, get a copy of your chart, get all my keywords, learn about all the spaces that you occupy as a natal chart. And also what we'll do today is go through, based on your rising sign, where it is that Taurus is in terms of the house in your natal chart, so you will know where you will be getting this activation. Now, if you don't know your birth time, you may not have your rising sign placed as the first house, and that's kind of important as far as houses go, but you can use your sun or your moon. Put one of those in the first house and map it out that way. That is a way to do astrology, by just rooting it in your sun as the first house or your moon as the first house. And I'll let you decide if sun or moon feels more like you in terms of first house. And if you're like, how would I know? Go take What Your Birthday Says About You, and my workbook has a lot of information about what you might be able to lean into to find that out about yourself. There's also a process called rectification that you can have a professional astrologer do for you. Not all astrologers offer this, but it is a way to determine more or less likelihood of what your rising is based on a series of things that have happened in your life and where that would position different things in your chart, and then just interviewing you to find out where that impact showed up. You keep hearing me say where. That's what, regarding the houses. The formula for chart harmony is the planet is the what, like what is that thing that's happening. The sign is the how. Like, how is that thing that's happening? Like, what's the vibe of it? And then the houses are where that shows up in your natal chart. So the planet's the what, the sign is the how, and the house is where it all shows up in your life. So we're going to be going through what is that even for this Taurus preview of Chiron that we're going to get. So here are some things that I want to just put on the screen for a moment, and then I'm going to come off slides to talk first, check on chat, because I see y'all are moving in the chat, and I want to check on you, make sure that you, if you've got any questions, if I've missed anything so far that needs a little smoothing over, that I get a chance to do that. But also then I'm going to go sign by sign. I'm first going to do what is it going to be to have Chiron and Taurus visiting you for this preview, and what to look for and where to look for it in your life. And then I'm going to spend some time looking at your natal Chiron and what is that wound and what is on the other side of that wound. So Chiron and Taurus specifically, this list up here, it's going to create an experience that is a challenge to collective values. Values with Taurus always, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is love, money, enoughness, value for value. It is how we get to our sense of enoughness by what is valued in us. And the collective values right now, at least over here in late stage capitalism, is a whole bunch of billionaires this and everybody else that. And there's a status that's associated with materialism and consumerism and all of that stuff that is going to become challenged when Chiron gets into Taurus. We're also going to experience, by the time we're done with it, but as you'll recall, it's going to take a few years for us to get done with it. It's going to take 7 whole years for us to get done with it. It's going to be 2033 before we are done with it. And by 2033, Uranus will also be done with Gemini. Like I said, they're hanging out together in their little sign moving things. And so we've got Uranus having just moved into Gemini, and it'll be on into Cancer at the time that Chiron is done with Taurus and moving into Gemini. So they're twinning, not by sign, but by pace for this little piece of time where Chiron is in the signs that have generations around it. Let me pause this one for just a second. Because Chiron is only in like Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius for a couple of years max, and with Libra it's not even, it's like a little over a year and a half. With Chiron being in these such short period of times, we don't have Chiron generations for people born in these years with Chiron in these signs. It's like being in the same class in school, where we're in the same homeroom, we got to take the same curriculum, we're in the same grade or two, but it's not like the difference between people who are in elementary school or grade school and then the people who are up here in high school and headed off to college. It's not like that. But when we get into Aquarius, but especially Pisces, Aries, and Taurus for Chiron, and a little bit Gemini. When we get into these 3 signs, especially Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, we actually have generations. Like, there's a generation of us that are the Chiron and Aries kids. That's me. There's the Chiron and Aries generation is the first generation of latchkey kids, of parents divorcing at such a high rate that it was sometimes just one kid, one parent in a household. And often that parent, or if the parents were not divorced, both parents are out working, which means kid gets home from school, has to let self in. That's why latchkey and latchkey kid actually is a phrase that started up probably during the Chiron and Aries time before that, because it is when the mothers were out in the factories and supporting the war effort, doing all the things during World War II here in the United States anyway, that we first saw kids having to come home and take care of themselves after doing their day of school. And so you've got this feral segment of Gen X folks that absolutely we raised ourselves. You would come home, get a snack, do a little bit of homework maybe, or whatever amount you needed to do, clean your chores, whatever it is that you needed to do, and then you would go out and you would be with different people out in the neighborhood, or perhaps completely on your own until later when parent got home. And this created a really trigger warning. This created a really interesting opportunity for folks who are child predators to do some things that created a lot of wounds in this part of Gen X. In terms of what was appropriate, in terms of SA, the kinds of things that went on in kids' lives that no one was there to get to see or experience or take care of and keep us from receiving those wounds. And that's something that we share as a commonality. There's also similarly something that the Pisces Chiron generation shares. There's something that the Taurus Chiron generation shares. And so I want to mention that specifically, that when we're looking at these signs that Chiron stays in longer, we're dealing with a whole generation of people, not quite a decade of people who have the same general wound when it comes to what Chiron is here to work on in us. And so back to Chiron and Taurus specifically, we're going to also get an opportunity to experience alignment with pleasure, simplicity, what is enduring value. These are things that are inherently Taurus that Chiron, when healed, has the opportunity for us to experience. And I'm talking about Chiron and Taurus as if we have already healed that wound, because everybody who already has Chiron and Taurus natally is about to experience their Chiron return. And during your Chiron return, you get a chance to focus on that experience of healing that wound so that you can then become a better healer. And if you're like, I'm not here to be a healer, yes, you are. We all are. It's just kind of the assignment right now. We are all living in a way. I was talking with an artist yesterday during a coaching session that we were doing astrology / business coaching like we do. And I said, how many lives do you have to change for your art to make a difference and for it to be worth it? Because they were lamenting audience size. And like, it's not about audience size. It's about you changed someone's life. You healed someone with the lyrics of your song or of the stroke of your brush in your artwork. There's something that you did that was incredibly healing. And that is something to lean into and to really appreciate. So I'm here to help everyone who is going, oh crap, I am a healer, figure exactly out what that needs to look like. And there's not one standard way for it to look. You're already doing it exactly right. And I'm just going to help remind you of that, but I'm happy to do it. Okay. But also that focus on inner stability, that enoughness coming from within, Chiron and Taurus is going to give us a really beautiful opportunity to connect with that. Now, this formula here, I know for those of you who don't know astroglyphs, that may look like the whiteboard in an episode of Big Bang Theory. And as you may recall from Big Bang Theory, there were always very many whiteboards with very many formulas that you're like, I did not learn that one in algebra. That does not look like a proof I remember from geometry. No, they were doing some physics. But this situation here says Jupiter in Aquarius, and I definitely got this little formula wrong. I could tell I was doing this in the nighttime. I was definitely doing this before I went to bed, and I did not go to bed until 7 a.m. So hang on, we're going to fix that right now. We're going into the Canva and we're going to fix that mess right now, because that is absolutely fiction, what I typed right there. I was so excited to have the Aquarius of it all that I totally, to have the glyphs, I totally got that wrong. Jupiter is moving into Leo. Where's Leo? Boom. And then this being conjunct? No. We're going to look for an opposition. Where's my opposition? Nope, that's a trine. Where is my opposition? Is it this one? Nope, that's a sextile. Is it this one? Nope, that's a square. Okay, give mommy a minute. There, opposition. All right, now, boom, shakalaka. We got it. All right. That was scary. That was I thought we were going to have a thing. Okay, but crisis averted. I have fixed it. So now I'm going to just show you from inside my various live stream slides project at Canva that when Jupiter moves into Leo and opposes Pluto in Aquarius, they square Chiron in Taurus. And this is that part that I was telling you about over here. So we're going to make it happen on the astrological. We're going to go, when is Chiron going to square? and we are not going to have a radix chart. We are going to have, yeah, Jupiter. That looks good. That's going to happen. Oh, goody. July 1st of 2026, we've got Chiron at 0 degrees Taurus, immediately squaring that Jupiter at 0 degrees Leo. But wait. When are we going to have Pluto? And I know I should put Jupiter first and then Pluto, but July 20th of 2026, we get Jupiter at 4 degrees Leo with Chiron at 4 degrees Aquarius. Now, Chiron is still only at 0 degrees Taurus at this time, but this is going to be a really important transit, this aspect right here of Jupiter opposing Pluto, because Jupiter is the planet of more, big, expand, grow. Abundance, prosperity, yes, all good things, but also much. And Jupiter in Leo in particular is especially extra. It's a lot of fire. It's a lot of see me, ego. There, it's a lot. And when it's opposing Pluto, the planet of transformation, of generational reset, of burn it to the motherfucking ground and then start over from scratch, building something better, in the sign of the collective, of innovation, of society, of the bigger picture of humanity, that is a very interesting transit. Now, Jupiter opposes Pluto once every 12 years and will go back and forth because of retrograde and hit that point a few times. But this one is especially big deal because we've got Chiron squaring it. And so now let's go back to when does Chiron square, and this time we'll go for Pluto. And that one's not going to happen until July of 2028. And by then, Jupiter will have gone boop, over into Virgo and may even be, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, is about to leave Virgo and go into Libra by the time we're at July 8th, 2028. So that's just a little farther out, but something that I want on your radar. The fun part to all of this happening is we've got the eclipses from summer of 2026. So here we go. Let's get over there. August 12th, 2026, we have an eclipse of Leo to Aquarius. So we're having a Leo new moon eclipse on August 12th of 2026. And Chiron, of course, is over here at 0 degrees Taurus retrograde, heading back over into Aries to finish up some business. But this is a very interesting activation by sign, because these eclipses, with the nodes being in Aquarius and Leo, are gonna create some kind of interesting stuff, because eclipses are the times when everything's unpredictable. There's a lot of intense energy. I've gone forward to February 6, 2027, when we have an eclipse in Aquarius, while Chiron is very definitely heading back into, has now moved back into Libra. Sorry, Aries, menopause mouth. When Chiron has moved into Aries to finish up business then. And so we're going to not have all of that coming together until we get into the summer of 2027, when we have an eclipse at 11 degrees nodes of Chiron and Aquarius, but we've got the sun at 25 degrees Cancer and the moon at 25 degrees Capricorn. So it's going to involve the fixed and the not cardinal signs, and that of course is happening while Chiron is at 4 degrees Taurus. And if you're like, Bonnie, oh my God, this is too many things. Yeah, you see why I said I think I may end up having to do a couple of live streams about this, because I still haven't even gotten into where Chiron is in your natal chart and what that means about you, and I definitely want to hit that. But I just want to show that when we're in this realm of 2-3 degrees of exactitude, of Jupiter in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius, and both of those squaring Chiron and Taurus, that energy across the fixed signs, even before we get into eclipses happening in Aquarius and Leo, all of that T-square creates a transformation of value. So transformation Pluto, value, Venus ruled Taurus, based in status, ego, materialism, all of those things. status, ego, materialism, Leo, 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 Jupiter, 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 opposing Pluto in Aquarius, leads to collective healing. Healing because Chiron, collective because Aquarius, where Pluto is for that transformation. And then there's the eclipses. ... I know, right? I mean, this is some stuff. This is some stuff. I'm going to check on y'all, and then we're going to get into what you got in your natal chart. So, how are we, chat? How are we? Oh, I'm so glad you're excited for this, Rain. That means a lot to me. I'm excited for it too. I have been working on this for a minute, and I'm kind of obsessed. I have pages and pages and pages of notes. I have an image from I will put recommended reading in the description of this video for those of you who are like, book, give me a book, give me a book, give me a book. I will put a couple of links for you, or at least name the books and authors, and you shop where you want. I will probably put links to Amazon, because even though we want to shop local and we want to support minority-owned businesses, we want to shop with that value set in mind. I'm going to probably link to the Amazon version so that you can get as much information as possible there before you go on. You're looking for library or wherever else. This is from Melanie Reinhardt. Her book is considered like the Chiron book. There are several, but hers is a biggie. Chiron and the Healing Journey is one of her many books, and this is a page from it. These are the themes of Chiron in general, but I have so many notes here. I'm just very excited about this conversation because I have not done a lot around Chiron. And in fact, what I actually mean is I've done zero around Chiron. And I had my Chiron return like at the beginning of pandemic. So here we are in quarantine, lockdown, and I'm having my Chiron return while Pluto either opposes or squares every damn thing in my Libra and Cancer stelliums. Meanwhile, I'm going through hot flashes, 1 per hour minimum, and I'm like, I'm gonna murder somebody. I'm gonna unalive everybody. It's a good thing I'm not allowed out in front of other people right now, because this is a lot. And I'm like, why didn't I care to study Chiron while that was going on? And I was like, because I was dancing as fast as I could to make it through all of that. Now though, that I understand my role in the healing journey of the leaders, like y'all, the leaders of the new era and where we're headed as a culture, as a collective, because y'all have people whose lives you're going to touch in their healing journey because of how far ahead you are. You know, you're that weird friend that everybody checks in with to say like, well, can you tell me what's going on? And you're like, yeah, I actually can. I'm going to help y'all make sure that you are still taking care of yourselves while you are helping your collective and your group, however big or small. Because remember, you only have to help one person for it to have been worth it. And I am going to be able to help with all of that. And that's why I think Chiron and Taurus is the one where I'm like, I can actually really help this generation of folks that's going through Chiron and Taurus, Chiron return, in ways that I was not equipped to while Chiron and Aries, and specifically my Chiron return, was going on. All right, so let's see here what we got. He is asleep right now, says Keith. Dead bug configuration. So Keith is giving me news about mala beads. Aw, thanks, babe. Thank you for sharing about mala beads. He's in dead bug configuration. Yep. Figuring out 3 to 4 years for Chiron being in Taurus. 7 years, Jackie. 7 years. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining me for the live stream. I so appreciate it. Vio! Welcome. I know I'm behind. Y'all been leaving these messages and I've been like on slides. So excited for Chiron to conjunct my natal Mars in Taurus at 3 degrees in the 6th house. Vio, this is a big deal. That's a big deal. Ooh, I'm so excited for you. Eventually aspecting my natal Chiron 29 degrees Pisces 4th house. Woo! Ooh, excited is the word. I think excited is definitely the word. I mean, especially since you're going to get a little kickoff from Mars before you get into your Chiron return. Kind of love it. Lisa, good morning, sweetheart. Oh my gosh, you're in Sunland. I absolutely know where you are. Southeast or northeast of Burbank. Yes, excellent. Thank you for saying hello. Will it be available on replay, Jennifer? Yes, this same link where you're watching the live stream, this will be up as replay. I'm not taking it down. I'm not putting it behind a paywall. These live streams are my way of, I had been doing webinar, and I'm like, how do we make it even easier? How do we make it even less friction? Just live stream YouTube, and you get to watch me edit a slide, because it's like, I clearly did that at 7 a.m. I probably did it around 6 a.m. and then went to sleep by 7. Anyway, yes, you'll be able to see this. And I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2. Definitely. Yay, excellent. Absolutely my pleasure. I'll definitely be replaying this class a few times along with the screen pictures. Great, of course. Natal Jupiter and Leo baby here too, sigh. Hey, VO. That is a lot of energy, and it feels sometimes like there's a part of you that is begging for things to be bigger and spotlight more on you than you actually want. I understand that. That is challenging. That is the downside of Jupiter, wherever it is. It really wants to do the most, and that may not agree with a lot of other parts of your chart. That is definitely something we learn to balance over time, but it is challenging, especially early in life. Yes, please, additional streams on natal and this upcoming activity during eclipse as well. Yep, we'll do. Does Chiron ingress, this is Jackie's question, moving into Taurus, still follow the decans rules? Yes. If we go back over to my, not slide, but my astrology software, this is Astro Gold. This shows the decans. That's these little 10-degree components of each sign. And I think I need to do a whole thing on decans that's a little deeper than the live stream that I have, but I do have a live stream on the decans, and how each sign is actually 3 signs, and there's more than that. This is just one way of dividing things up. I could divide it. There's a lot. Astrology will make sure you are never done learning astrology. Let's put it that way. Astrology will make sure you're never done learning astrology. But for the purpose of answering this question that Jackie had, wonderful question, yes, the decans are the decans once you have chosen to use decans. And these in particular are the elemental decans, meaning that, for instance, Leo here is ruled by the sun, and the first decan of Leo is 10 degrees, during which the sun is also the ruler. So it's like double sun. Then the second decan is from degree 9, so from 10 degrees to 19 degrees 59 minutes. That second decan is ruled by Jupiter, so that one is another fire sign that we keep in mind for that, which is Sagittarius. Then the third decan of Leo is ruled by Mars, so that's it's 20 degrees to 29:59 of Leo is going to be Sun plus Mars, and that is for Aries, another fire sign. So these are elemental decans, in that each of these decan rulers also rules a fire sign. But that's a different teach for a different time. But yes, to answer that question, which I'm happy to do, that is in fact going to continue, because if you use the decans, you're going to use them for whatever planets ingress into or out of those places. Great question. Excellent. Okay, cool. Where are we next? Okay, loving this. Great, Jennifer, I'm so glad. Thank you. No Chiron in Pisces video in your archives. No, but that doesn't mean I can't look out for you now. I mean, if not now, I mean, like in the 2026 now, like I'm gonna, clearly, it's already 11:45. I've been live streaming now for 45 minutes or 44 and a half minutes. Cause I always start after like about a minute late. Anyway, because I gotta go, I got a client, so I know I'm not gonna be able to get to everything that's on all my lists and all the things. But yeah, we'll do a part 2, no doubt, and I will make sure we well cover Pisces. I plan it. I promise it, but also I plan it. You get the, like, never mind. Okay. Only funny in my brain. Oh, I'm so glad, Rain. Thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate it. So glad you're on top of Chiron and Taurus for us. Yes, please. Okay, great. Y'all rule. I love you so much. Thank you for being here and enjoying my joy, because I'm having so much joy around this. All right. So here's what we want to know. During this preview that we're about to get, of Chiron in Taurus for 3 months. Remember, this is going to be from June 19th, 2026 to September 17th, 2026. During this preview, you're going to get a taste of the wounded healer moving into your Taurus house. So what that means is wherever Taurus is for you, first house, second house, third house, so like if you're looking at my little screen right here, this is at the current time in Santa Monica. The chart of the right now has a Leo rising. That puts Taurus up here in the 10th house. So if you have Leo rising, you've got Taurus in the 10th house, you are about to get a visit of Chiron to your 10th house. And your 10th house is where you do career. It's who you are in the public eye. It's your ambition. It's your reputation for being out there doing work. It's your career. It's also your relationship with your father, especially when we're looking for things like wounds. We look at those relationships a little more than we would in any other chart necessarily. And also, I was quick to say father because that's a traditional astrology trope, but I really like Bear Rivers. This is a wonderful astrologer. Bear has a really nice framing of 10th house, 4th house juxtaposition. And whereas instead of 4th house is mom and 10th house is dad, it's 4th house is the unseen parent and the 10th house is the more public parent. So for those of us who are kids of divorce, the parent that went away and you never saw again all that much, 4th house. The parent that you stayed with and was a big part of your life even after the divorce, that's 10th house. And so like my dad is in my 4th house, my mom is in my 10th house. So I like that unseen parent versus the public parent juxtaposition. I think that is much better than just the gender roles. But we know all of those are problematic and evolving. And I shouldn't say problematic. The clinging to them can be problematic. The awareness that they are evolving and the language that we use to talk about them evolves a little slower than the actual evolution of the experience. And so we give people time, hopefully, and grace to express themselves in clunky ways until they get more practiced with the new language of it all. That is my reminder to have grace around people who may be a little clumsier and seemingly careless around their words. Hopefully they are endeavoring to do better. All right, so anyway, wherever Taurus is in your chart, Chiron is going to give you a preview for 3 months this summer of 2026 of what to expect. So what do we want to look for? If Taurus is your first house, this is your Taurus rising folks, right? If Taurus is your first house, you are going to be looking at, wow, am I feeling a change around how I show up as my personality? My physical interest in how I dress, in how I am protected. Because since Chiron is the wounded healer, do I feel like I need more armor when I go out into the world and express myself? Do I feel myself kind of going within a little bit and being a little more inside cat? We got to remember, Taurus loves a nap. Taurus loves a good book. Taurus loves a good book with a purring kitty followed by a nap. Wait, Taurus loves a good book with a purring kitty after a bowl of ice cream, a good nap. So if the Taurus energy gets a little more of let's lean into that, it can be because that Chiron coming to Taurus feels a little unsafe. And this is where we just have to remember the wound may even be so ancestral that it goes back beyond what anybody even knows about my relatives and their connection. And it's also ancestors that we are connected with karmically, not necessarily blood related in this timeline, but maybe as different incarnations over different lifetimes. I'm someone who believes we're on multiple dimensions simultaneously and in multiple timelines simultaneously. And so I know when something happens that feels like it's ancestral, that's me connecting with myself in the past and in the future simultaneously. And so the work that we do in healing today is something that we do to help the healing journey of an ancestral wound and also to pay it forward to future ancestors, future folks for whom we will be ancestors. We are doing something to kind of help soothe some of that. That generational and ancestral healing is something that Chiron is really good at helping us do, and it allows for us to be a lot less me focused. I'll be interested to see how that shakes out in Taurus in particular, since Taurus is a fixed sign and the next fixed sign is Leo, and that relationship between Taurus and Leo is a bit. It's something that we would definitely will experience. Okay, so let me move Taurus around my little chart wheel here, and I'm not sharing my screen, so I know y'all are not seeing anything, but this is just going to help me with where I put Taurus. So Taurus in the first house, you are going to experience, actually physically and personality wise, feeling as if there's something that is either in need of healing or in need of just downtime, to be in a space that feels more connected to the healing process rather than out in the world doing all the things. And so don't be surprised if you feel a little more of that, good book, purring kitty, bowl of ice cream, take a nap version of yourself. And it won't always be like that, but it could spend a little time there. And so we want to make sure that you feel equipped for that vibe. If you have Taurus in the second house, so this is for my Aries rising folks, you're going to notice this in your job money, your ongoing regular revenue. You will notice this experience of a wounded healer vibe around maybe money issues. So if you've got money mindset stuff, those of you with Aries rising, if you've got some beliefs about your value and your ability to earn, especially in this system that is breaking as we are living in it. Hey, late stage capitalism, who knew? That there's this whole vibe of, okay, what can I do to heal this energy, and what can I define my value as that is not represented monetarily? Like, how do I find value in myself when my bank account says zero, basically? Not that I'm saying your bank account is going to hit zero. I'm just saying you want to remember that value is built of more things than just materialism and capitalism and things that dominant culture says we should value. Okay. I mean, dominant culture, like, we don't trust them. They redact everything. If it's nothing, then why is it redacted? I would like to know. Release the Epstein files. Every one of them. Read them out. Read them. Okay. If Chiron is coming to your third house, Taurus, and this is for my Pisces risings, you are going to notice this in your social medias, in your connection with people that are your neighbors, your siblings, your close in friend group. You're going to notice a need for healing and a little example of some of the wounds that are potentially here in this part of your chart. And so look for those closest in relationships, your communication with those folks, things like in your local neighborhood or in your social media expression and the way that you write. Like, this could be a really good time to start a blog about your healing journey. If Substack's your jam, something that you can do regularly that allows you to not just write it, but also share it with an audience. This could be a really good experiment for those 3 months of Taurus Chiron for you Pisces rising. For those of you with Aquarius rising, you're going to have this Chiron visit to your fourth house. And so, as we mentioned earlier, this is, of course, the unseen parent. This is your roots, how you grew up, your family home, what is the way that family and growing up was built around your lived experience, childhood, inner child work. You could notice that there's a healing that is asking to happen around your relationship with that unseen parent, even if they are no longer living. There is the ability to do some healing work around that. That is for my Pisces risings. My Aquarius risings. That is for my Aquarius risings. You may experience that kind of vibe for this 3-month period that Chiron is visiting your fourth house. For my Capricorn risings, this puts Taurus in your fifth house of children and childlike glee and taking risks and playing the lottery and having affairs and jumping on stage and being seen and all that party vibe. So for my Capricorn risings, you may notice Chiron showing up in how you take the stage and where you take risks and how you feel about being seen in those taking risks kind of places. You know, Capricorn rising, you're already a little conservative when it comes to how you get yourself out in the world. And I know that that might fight with other parts of your chart. But during this visit of Chiron to your fifth house, you're going to have an opportunity to heal some of that relationship between the more conservative side of you and the side of you that's like, get up on that stage, be seen, you have a voice and it has value. This is all stuff that you can expect to be previewed for you during these 3 months of Chiron and Taurus of summer of 2026. For my Sagittarius risings, you've got Taurus in the sixth house. So Chiron visiting here is going to show up in your health, is going to show up in your day to day. I am yelling to my husband who has Sagittarius rising, because just the other day I said, maybe you do this instead of like something that would help with his health. He's going through some things where doctors are recommending some things that he's like, I don't want to have to do that. And I'm like, then let's stop the all sugar diet. Let's try some things that might change that and the direction that that's going. I just want to make sure my husband is watching from the other room, and more important, that he's listening, because it's not just wife nagging. It is the astrology telling you that if you have Sagittarius rising, Chiron is coming to your sixth house of health and healing and day-to-day habits. And if you have a jobby job, it is your role in your jobby job. If you do not have a jobby job and you instead run your own business and there are people who work for you, that is also your sixth house. This is also where your pets live. So it could be your pets that go through a little something. Oh my God, we got in a fight last night because my husband took the dog out off leash at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you do not take dog out off leash ever, but especially not when, you know, coyotes might be out and about and trolling the street and picking up a nice snack like a mala. No, thank you, sir. No. So he got... Okay, I'm just going to replay this part. I'm going to make this whole thing I just said his ringtone. Okay, but so Sagittarius rising, it's going to seem like I'm picking on you a little bit, but that's just because I love you. Okay, Scorpio rising, this puts Chiron visiting your seventh house of one-on-one relationships. This means that you're going to notice an opportunity for healing wounds around how you pair up or how you partner up, because it's not just your romantic relationships, it's also your business partnerships, it's your therapy relationship, it's your coach relationship, it's your attorney relationship, it's your business partner, romantic partner, anybody who is your plus one. It's also known enemies. So you could notice somebody who you thought was kind of out of the picture circling back around to make sure that you are feeling healed around the wound of attack that might have happened at some point in your life. And Scorpio rising, I know you're like, every day of my life someone's trying to attack me. That's why I have to stay ahead of the game with all the things that I know about all the people, and like that's why I Scorpio on them. I know you're going to get a really big opportunity to lean into that over the 3 months of this Chiron in Taurus preview, and then for 7 years. I know. Libra rising, you've got Chiron coming to your Taurus 8th house, and this is the house of other people's money. This is also death. This is also sex. This is also the occult. This is also mysterious things, magical things, unseen things. When I say other people's money for the 8th house, this is if you're an entrepreneur. This is how you make money that you don't control, meaning you put the word out that I do this thing and hopefully clients come. I mean, I know you can do lots of things that are specifically targeted marketing and blah, 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 but by and large, 8th house money, we don't control when and how that shows up. And so Chiron showing up to the 8th house Taurus for the Libra risings is going to be, what wounds might you have about not having money? As a Libra rising myself, I'm like, oh, you mean the wound of me and mommy against the world because daddy left and took all his money with him, and we were kicking it for like $8,000 in alimony and child support a year. And for those first couple of years that daddy was gone, we're like, Bonnie got to go on government supported lunch at the public school. Montessori was nice, but we're done with that because that cost a lot of money. So I'm going to get to do some childhood wound healing myself. Yay, can't wait. I thought my Chiron journey was over. No, just beginning. For our Virgo risings, this puts Taurus in your 9th house of higher learning, international travel, academia in general, any place of the higher mind. This is religion, it's cults, it's also gurus, it is academia professors, it's publishing, it's astrologers, it's the legal field, it's anything that's like higher mind or international travel. So Chiron visiting there is going to give you the opportunity to heal some wounds around that kind of higher learning and your relationship with, I would imagine, any low enoughness around not having finished a degree or not having gotten all the degrees or not having learned all the languages, or I don't know what other 10,000 things might a Virgo rising be feeling low enoughness about when it comes to ninth house matters. You're going to get an opportunity to highlight what needs the healing over there in those parts. Next up for our Leo rising, which we did a little early preview on this one when I wasn't going in order. Leo rising puts Taurus in your 10th house of the public eye, of being seen in your business. It is the seen parent if we are healing issues with the more public parent, as well as your ambition for your career and being up at the top of your chart. Taurus is already saying, take it slow, build loyalty. It doesn't have to be a fast game. And that Leo rising is like, but if they could just see me, I know I would make it sooner. I would be where I want to be faster. And Leo, that's your fire talking. You got to lean into that fix, that Leo rising fixed sign, which has a very nervous, worried 12th house of Cancer over there. That opportunity to heal that's coming to your 10th house is going to be something that is going to enrich you at a very different level, and I encourage you to lean into that. Then when we get to our Cancer rising, this moves Taurus into the 11th house of your community, your larger friend group, your audience, who you're here to serve as the collective, where that legacy is going to be left when you're done with this temporary skin suit and your experience of this soul through this timeline. You are going to get an opportunity to do some healing or expose some wounds around friendships and who's there for you and who's worth investing your energy into. And Cancer rising, if you've got butt hurt feelings that you still hold on to from childhood and teenhood and yesterday, all that is going to get you know how we irrigate a wound? That's the vibe here. It's like all of that stuff is going to get dredged up, and you're going to have an opportunity to pour some peroxide into it and watch all them bubbles. And finally, our Gemini rising, not only do you have Uranus hanging out in your first house for 7 years, making sure that you are never the same that you were when we started this journey, Gemini rising, you also have Chiron visiting your 12th house of imprisonment and systems that don't serve you, or places where you are in a loop on your mental health specifically, and the opportunity to do some really deep healing there. Gemini rising, because you've got Uranus hanging out in your first house, you're already like, I'm full. I know I said I'm endlessly curious. I know as a Gemini rising, I am always looking for what else might I be interested in? What else can I be curious about? You're going to be like, okay, I'm done. Chiron in the 12th house visiting Taurus, like these 3 months. I'm good. I'm full. I got enough. I'll let you know when I would like some more. And Gemini rising, I'm afraid it is not going to work exactly like that. And you will get a sense of how that feels for these 3 months. And again, that period is going to be from June. That period is going to be from June 19th, 2026 to September 17th, 2026. That is when we get our preview of Chiron in early degrees Taurus. So go experience that and see how it all feels and what you would like to do with that energy, because we're going to get 7 years of it after that preview, starting in April of 2027, April 14th, 2027 to be exact. All right, let's check on you in the chat. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Let's see. Hello, the water bearer. Yexi, the water bearer. I love your name. Found you recently via an article you wrote. You're such a light, and I love learning from you. Kisses and hugs from the DR. Mwah. Taurus in 11th house here. Saturn placement in it. Woo, honey. Woo, honey. Any place where you were experiencing that why don't they like me wound in like high school or grade school or yesterday, you're going to get a chance to do some healing around that, Yexi. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for finding me. I appreciate whatever sent you to that article you landed on. I really do appreciate that the internet can be a good and positive force. And thank you for joining us. And I hope you will stay in our world and allow us to explore what this healing journey is going to look like. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. You like me like ragging on the hubby during my live stream? I know. Wound irrigation sounds right up my alley. Excellent. No longer looking at the past with melancholy. I'm grateful for it and moving forward. Affirmation. I love that affirmation. Thank you for sharing that with me as well. I was actually writing in my journal recently, why do I keep replaying these things and these things and these things? And they're very specific moments from teenhood and early college and like before grad school. Some of it is grad school, but I'm like, wow, I'm just like really reviewing and replaying a lot of these things and going, oh, if I now I have the words to explain what was going on then, and I didn't have words then, and I was such a mess, and I hurt people I didn't mean to hurt. How could I change that? How could I make that feel different for that timeline? And this is where I go, oh good, I believe in multiple timelines on multiple dimensions simultaneously. The healing work I'm doing right now is healing work that is happening for all of those that I've encountered and will encounter. That's part of the opportunity that is happening in this multidimensional thinking. And hopefully that allows me to let go a little bit of what feels sticky about the lived experience that I had and that I created for others as well. And I know their chart brought them to it, their lived experience brought them to it. It was something that we co-created, but still I have guilt. And I think it's also my South Node in Virgo. I mean, feeling the guilt around that. Woo, honey. Yes, I love that. Thank you. My wife is Libra rising. So when you said you were, I was like, okay, this is why I love her already. I mean, Libra rising's really lovable. It's hard not to fall in love with Libra rising. I'm just going to say it. So lucky you, lucky your wife also. Okay, good. You're not alone in the history replays and analyzing in mind. No, especially not lately. And I think a lot of it is just like the state of the world. And I say the state of the world as if it's the world. I got to not blame the world. The shit show that these billionaires have created with all of their corruption and cronyism, this abuse of everybody who's not them, that they are perpetuating and thinking that we're not aware of. Like, they don't even care that we're aware of it. Doesn't matter. Oh my God, don't get me on that soapbox. I got to coach in a minute, so I gotta wrap this up. But yeah, I think that some of it is just the state of all of that clusterfuck that they've created is keeping all of us just going, yeah, it's like the nervous system's jacked. We're wearing our shoulders up here like earrings. And it is just so important that we remind ourselves to center, to ground, to connect with ourselves, and to know that when we're replaying stuff, that's an air sign thing. That is something that is happening in the brain because it is a workout of that energy. And right now, the brain is always trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, and the Rubik's Cube of right now, of this experience and what the fuck is about to happen, we don't know how to solve that Rubik's Cube. It's broken. It's like the stickers got put on wrong, and this is now an unsolvable cube. But the brain keeps wanting to solve it. So I think that's why then the brain goes over and says, oh, okay, well, what are those things that I did wrong decades ago? What are the things that I'm like, oh God, I made that poor kid hate being in relationship because I broke up so ugly or whatever, blah, 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 all that. It's like, good job, brain. You are keeping busy. Could I interest you in a game of Mahjong Solitaire or Words with Friends? Usually I can get my brain to go, oh yeah, that sounds good too. Or a paint by number on my iPad. Those things. Since I don't have vodka anymore, these are my things. Or my puppy. Maybe I want to go outside with my puppy. Yes. Yes, please. All the time. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. Last call for questions. Please go to bonniegillespie.com/events if you would like to see when I will next be on live. I will definitely be doing a part 2 live stream of Chiron and your natal placements because I didn't even get to it. And it's all up in here. I got your Chiron through the signs in your natal chart and Chiron through the houses in your natal chart. And so it's like a Mad Libs, like your natal Chiron is in this sign in this house, and that is your little combo. And then I've got all these notes where I've got what you might want to try for healing. I'm also working on a Chiron post at my blog, bonniegillespie.com. I know you're going to go over to bonniegillespie.com/events to see when I am next live. But also lots of resources all through bonniegillespie.com. Use the search bar. Get on my mailing list. Go to bonniegillespie.com/bonblast. BONBLAST. Now my alarm is going off to tell me, bitch, get off that. It's in the other room. I did that on purpose. I'm rarely with my phone. I'm not like the rest of my generation in that regard. My alarm is going off in there so that I can faintly hear it, and I'm going to have to leave to turn it off. That was really smart. Oh, and I also have this list as well. But anyway, get on my mailing list. Check out my events. I will definitely do a part 2 for Chiron. I'm also working on a blog post and some infographics because clearly, Canva is one of my happy places. The things I want to say before we finish, and I will come last look at chat and hey, replay crew, those of you watching in replay, again, in the comments, now that we've had this conversation, how are you feeling about Chiron in Taurus and the preview that we're about to get? I'd love to know. So what I said in the bomb blast last night about ancestral healing, one of the things that I've saved for the blog post and the live stream version of it all is you may ask yourself, like, why was this unhealed wound from my ancestors left for me to have to deal with? Why, like, this block around, let's say, Taurus things, money, love, enoughness, Venus ruled Taurus, those material things, like, why do I have wounds around this? Because my mom was a Depression era baby, or because there's a witch wound from generations back. Like, why do I get to deal with this today? Why, on top of everything that I actually earned up in this lifetime as wounds, why do I got to deal with that? No ancestor left those wounds for you. They did the best they could with the resources that they had. Just think about all the resources that we've gained in the past 10 years for how we heal, for how we speak about healing, for how we give ourselves grace while we are healing. Think back a generation, think back 50 years to the discovery of Chiron. What was healing like? For a lot of us, it was quit your crying or I'll give you something to cry about. And that was your therapy. Thanks. Like, very different. And so imagine generations ago, the tools that existed for healing and especially for self-soothing during healing. And we've got so much more grace for that now. And some would say we overcorrected, and that's how the pendulum swings. It always will go overboard in one direction before it comes back and gets into something a little more practical. And not that practicality is the goal, but you understand my metaphor. But the capacity that they had to heal is what they healed. And what was left is, yes, something that we then get the opportunity to heal, but it's also something that there were not tools for them to heal. And what an honor, what a privilege that something my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, the witches that I am related to by blood and otherwise, this is something that I can do for them because I have more tools and I'm discovering tools and we are co-creating tools. That's part of our lived experience now. And I can also borrow from future me who already has this work done and more. Like on that multiple timeline, multiple dimension reality that I choose to believe, there are lots of opportunities for this simultaneous healing. So as you are healing, you are doing it for future generations, and that does not just mean people on your bloodline. If you are childless by choice like me, you go, oh crap, I'm doing all this healing work to help nobody. Girl, your chart ruler is in the 11th house. There's a lot of people that are getting a benefit out of just even having this conversation. That is something I have to remind myself. All right. Mwah. Love you, beautiful people. Last looks. Yeah. You're saying that Chiron in my second house will give me the opportunity to heal disempowering money mindsets? Yes, absolutely, Jennifer. Sure will. You're going to get a 3-month-long preview of what that might look like this summer. And then we're going to have 7 years to work on it. So don't rush through that as you are looking at what gets pinged during this preview of Chiron in Taurus that will happen over the summer of 2026. But yes, you've got it exactly right. And I agree, Jackie, that was a good question. Definitely want to see a natal Chiron video. You will get one. Rain, I promise you, you will get one. You just as sure as you will have an infographic for each month in revisioning and the body that we do for the astrology body. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. You will have you will have a part 2. I can promise you that. Thank you so much for every minute of this. Going to be hitting rewind a lot. Oh, I love it. Thank you all so, so, so much. All right, beautiful. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love y'all. Take care of yourselves. This was a blast. I really appreciate you. We will do it again soon. Until then, mwah. Bye.